Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to ChannelBK. Yes, with all this gone, I am still Brian. It is still me. It is another classic review. I had to clean up a little bit, even though it was the worst time, because it's cold out. But you know, with cold, you feel sad, you know, feel like you want to listen to some blues. With that beautiful segue set up, let's just get into it. Nina Simone's Pastel Blues. Nina Simone is an acclaimed singer. This album was released in October, the 1st of October in 1965, and it has great blends of soul, R&B, and jazz. Now, if you're not too familiar with Nina Simone is in my opinion, one of the best vocalists of all time. She is very well known for a lot of her covers. She's very well known for her voice. She's into a lot of political stuff. She was recently in the Summer of Soul documentary, which you should check out if you haven't seen it. But Nina Simone is an iconic figure at the time. And again, I just thought, going back to older music, this was a great album to bring up. I think this album is great. It's a great mix of a lot of different things that Nina does well. Her voice is really great on here. The songwriting is great, obviously, from her songwriters. Two of them being Billie Holiday covers, excuse me. And it's also just very intriguing and interesting for a record to come from an artist like this at a time like this. And the interest starts this album with Be My Husband, which is just her clapping with a little hi-hat, and it's just her vocals just hitting so powerfully. Her husband apparently wrote this song too, which is kind of funny. And I really just love the soul in it. I love the part where it sounds like she's singing like a muffled horn, like when she's like, wah, 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 wah. I thought that was really cool. Again, just a very attention-grabbing intro to this album. Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out is a very straightforward song. One of the more straightforward songs on the album. It has this great jazz lounge feel. It's very, it has a nice tempo to it. I love just her approach on the song and vocally. Again, the way the song ends with her. Again, a lot of the time on this album, there are these parts where there's these really great parts to emphasize, and Nina just paints these pictures so well, and you could just see it bleed all onto the song with her vocals when she's like, nobody wants you, nobody needs you, nobody wants you when you're down and out. It's fantastic. But then we get to end of the line, which is super slow. It is super moody. I love the "this is the end of the line" vocals, but then later she's like swooning with these high pitched like obviously my singing is clearly the equivalent of Nina Simone. Joking aside, I think just her vocal range on the song is really interesting and very unique. And just with the song, it's very minimal. The pianos are very dark and seductive, but just again, her vocals just fit perfectly. Again, her vocal, you always hear that corny statement of like your voice is the instrument, right? In her case, it really is. Like the accompaniments for her singing are not terrible. They're great. Or like lackluster. It's just her vocals just make it go just to the stratosphere. Trouble in Mind goes back to a more kind of straightforward nature of the instrumentation. It's a little bit more upbeat because the song is about just thinking like, you're blue in your head, there's trouble in mind, but the sun is gonna shine in my door someday. One of the things about this album is obviously the songwriting is basically not hers, which is not a bad thing. But when you listen to her music, you kind of have to just get into it with just her vocals and how she approaches the song. And again, this album is just showcasing her voice in a lot of great ways. Again, she just has a great, her voice has a lot of character to it too. She has a lot of raw beauty to it, but it comes across as just very gorgeous. But there's, again, the character to her voice is just so nuanced. Tell Me More and More and Then Some is the first Billie Holiday cover on here. It is slow. It is seductive. I love the harmonica on here. Again, just her approach to the song is fantastic. Chilly Winds Don't Blow is another great track. I will say on this album, the pianos are super strong and lively. This song, I think, is the best example of that. The pianos on this song are so damn great. Ain't No Use slows the album down again. The vocal delivery near the end, where she's belting out these lyrics about being over and done, and then I gotta run. I just love her breath control. It's fantastic. The way she kind of stops, lets one thing speak, stops again. It's absolutely wonderful. But the next song on here, which is the other Billie Holiday cover, is Strange Fruit, which is, you know, written beautifully, but in like such a sad and depressing way, but in a way to just look at the state of the world at the time. And obviously when you listen to the lyrics and you start digging into what the song really is, it's very clear. When she gets to the hook and she's singing that, you know, swinging in the southern breeze, like it's just, and just the way she like will restrain herself, but then she'll belt it out and then she'll hold on to it. The pianos help a lot on this song as well with her emotion. It's fantastic and the storytelling's great. And then we finish the album with Sinnerman, which is a fantastic way to end an album. This is a African spiritual song that goes on for about 10 minutes. It doesn't feel like that because just the bam-ba-down, bam-ba-down, oh, Sinnerman. Like, it's infectious. Like, the whole song is super, super, super infectious. The groove and the vibe of this song is so great. And then I just love the backing vocals that come in. The power, power. It's emotional. It's a nice cathartic way to end this album. It's a nice bow on the album. I think this is the most cinematic song, coming off of Strange Fruit, which I think is just as cinematic. I think what this album does really well and encompasses is just Nina just singing her ass off. Her range, her control, her power, her restraint, her character. It's incredible. The songwriting on here is obviously great as well. The covers she chose are great, and the instrumentation's fantastic. It's not an over-the-top record. It is what it is, but it does everything that it needs to do so perfectly and beautifully. And it's fantastic. It's a classic. It's great. You should definitely go check it out because the album is under a half an hour until Sinnerman, and then that makes it over a half an hour. So what do you all think of this album if you listen to it? Do you like it? Is it your favorite in Nina's discography? What are some of your favorite songs? You know the jazz. Leave in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. It really does help out. I have so many more classic reviews, but we're almost done with the year of classic reviews. One more to end the year off. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for tuning into ChannelBK. Peace out, everyone.